Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, The Cutest Little Thing, Upcycle with Andrea. I am Andrea, and I thank you so much for hopping on to watch this video today. If you enjoy thrift flips, DIYs, home decor, upcycling, and all of the things, then you are at the right place. If you like what you see today, I hope that you will hit that like button, even subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and maybe even share it out with a friend who you think will like it too. You can also find me on Facebook and TikTok. Follow me there as well. Alright, let's get started with our projects for today. For this project, I had this cute little wooden vase bucket type thing in my stash with this little handle on it, so I definitely wanted to do something with it for the Christmas season. This is the color Fern in the Waverly. I love this color, and I had been wanting to do a Christmas project with it, so I just grabbed this piece and thought I would just do it on this piece. I wanted to highlight or outline around the top, so I went in with my antique wax and just very carefully brushed and dabbed on around that top just to give it a border. And I also decided to do that little wooden handle with the antique wax as well, just to give it some contrast, and I just think it adds a cute little touch with the green and the brown color. Now it was time to fill it. Super simple project. I keep these pool noodles on hand. They are perfect to use as fillers. You can cut them into pieces and use them whatever size you need. And I try to keep them in my stash. Initially, I was just going to take some little picks and stick in that foam there and make, a little arrangement. But then I saw this little tree in my stash, this little bottle brush tree. So I thought it would be perfect to use in this little wooden piece. So I just hot glued it there on that foam. And this is a piece of muslin cloth, and these are some stamps I got off of Temu this year. I wanted to use this North Pole one. A good rule of thumb is to lightly sand your stamp when it's new. And this is my ink pad I get off of Amazon. And I just mashed in that stamp into my ink pad. And I'm just going to stamp that right onto that muslin cloth. The first stamp weren't quite dark enough for my liking, so I was going to go in and double stamp. So I just did that same technique again. You just want to be careful to go right over what you've already stamped. I weren't quite happy with it. It was a little bit crooked, and the piece of muslin was a little too big. So I just decided to go in and re-stamp and try it again. And that time I was pleased with it. Now I'm just cleaning my stamp with a baby wipe and closing up that ink. And I just go in with hot glue around those edges so I can attach this onto my little wooden piece right on the front of it. And look how cute that is already looking, just super simple. But of course, I have to add a bow, so I'm just taking some strips of drop cloth here, just cutting those into strips. And I also take some of my homespun fabric I get from Walmart, and I just tore those into strips as well. Just various colors and all kinds, just making that cute little crisscross bow, tying it all together with jute string. And I'm just going to attach that to the top of our little bottle brush tree. These little bottle brush trees are so fun to make, and you can just stick them in just about anything you have around your house. And it's just super cute for the Christmas season. And I just tied that jute string around the tip of that tree just to give it some extra hold, and fluffed up those fabric pieces. And just like that, our little project is complete. Let me know what you think. I have this large red frame I thrifted when we were in Hendersonville, North Carolina. I thrifted it for $2. I just went in and cleaned it up really well with some rubbing alcohol and a wipe. I knew when I purchased this red frame that I was definitely going to do something with it for the Christmas season. So I was excited to get something done with this piece. I wanted to keep it red, but it needed some touching up, so I went in with the color Crimson and the Waverly. And I just went ahead and brushed on a quick full coat all over the frame. I was afraid if I just went in and touched up on some areas, there would be a slight variation in the two colors of red. So I figured my best bet would be just to go ahead and cover the entire thing. This is a swag that I had in my stash. I wanted to use it, but I didn't like that ribbon, and I didn't like the style of these bells. I like the bells, but I'm just putting those to the side for something here in just a little while. I'm fluffing up this garland, and I had this berry garland type twig stuff that I'm just kind of going in and interlacing in this garland. This was purchased off of Amazon, the garland, the berry garland, and that's a wire with the red berries attached. So it's very easy to put into your piece how you want it. Now I'm making a bow for the center of this swag. So I had this ribbon. The moose ribbon came from Hobby Lobby, and the other two came from Amazon, I believe. And that little Christmas truck sign came from Walmart for 98 cents. And I'm just crisscrossing my ribbons over each other. And I also wanted some greenery in that ribbon, but how I end up placing it on the piece, you don't even see it because that greenery blends right in with the rest of the garland, but it's fine. I just left it how I did it. And I'm just tying all of that together with jute string and just arranging those ribbons how I need them. Now back to this piece, I just cut that rope off of the bells and that little round ring. I just kind of cut it all apart. I wanted to keep these bells, but I wanted to give them more of a rusty look. And I just threw that rope away. So first I went in and I painted them with black chalk paint. This is the color Ink and the Waverly. And I ended up doing 2 coats of that black chalk paint. And I did all the bells, and I did the inside too. When that second coat was still wet, I sprinkled on some regular ground cinnamon that I picked up at Walmart. And I'm just kind of taking my finger and rubbing that cinnamon into that wet paint. And then here I am just painting the inside of that bell. And I ended up doing 2 coats on the inside as well. And I also sprinkled some cinnamon on the inside. Let that dry, and that just gives a really pretty rusty finish. These bells I purchased off of Amazon, and I wanted to embellish the center of my bow. I was trying to decide here if I wanted to use 1 or 2. I thought 2 was a bit much, so I just went ahead and used the 1, and I just hot glued that right to the center of my bow. I also wanted to hang that little red truck tag hanger in with my bow. So here I'm just trying to figure out how to place everything in my swag. And I just put a little dab of hot glue behind those pieces of ribbon just so they would stay where I wanted them to lay and they wouldn't try to fall forward. That's a little bow hack of mine that I like to do. I had a time getting this bow how I liked it and where I was happy with it. I decided I wanted like the tails hanging from the bow. So I went and I cut some more ribbon and I just kind of, you can see how I folded them sort of like a triangular shape, and then I cut the ends to make that look pretty down there at the end. And I just attached that to my bow with wire. And then I ended up not liking how the tails looked on the bow, and so I took them back off. I could not make my mind up with this piece, you guys. Here I'm just taking my staple gun and just, I wanted to attach this swag to the red frame, but of course it was heavy, and I knew just hot glue wouldn't do it, and I didn't want to tie it or anything because I was afraid that wouldn't hold that well. So I just went in with my staple gun and stapled that swag to the wooden frame. And y'all, then I put the tails back on the bow. So I was just so back and forth with this. Okay, now here I'm rehanging those jingle bells. I wanted to hang them from the frame. So I tied them with jute string and hung them back in the center of my frame there. So guys, I hope you like this. Let me know what you think. I really loved how this turned out, but I just weren't completely satisfied. I thought the top kind of overpowered the piece. So I didn't get a final picture, but I did go in and I just snipped the garland from the sides where it wouldn't stick out from the frame. So I cut it to where that garland stopped, where the red frame stopped. And I really love that much better. But I did not get a final picture or video of that. But let me know what you guys think, and thanks so much for joining me. Okay guys, I have this frame. I had it in my stash, and I have this beautiful print that I purchased off of an Etsy shop. Very simple flip here. I just want to decoupage that image that I printed off of my regular inkjet printer onto this frame. This frame is sort of like one of those chalkboard frames. And I'm just simply going right over that chalkboard part. I didn't paint it or anything. It was already black. And I'm just putting on a very generous coat of my Mod Podge here. And I am using the Mod Podge matte. That's usually my go-to with the Mod Podge. And my image fits perfectly right into that slot. I just press it down. I do ball up a piece of saran wrap, and that just always helps smooth out the creases and the wrinkles in my image. So I just rub that across. I am using my blow dryer to just help it dry a little bit, and mashing down with that piece of saran wrap while I blow dry it. Now I'm just taking this DIY clear wax and I'm just going over my image just to seal in that ink from my printer. because this isn't going to have glass or anything over it. So I did want to have some sort of sealer to help protect it. And I don't remember if I mentioned before, but this gorgeous frame was already this color. I didn't do anything to it. It was in perfect condition, and I loved it just how it was, so I left it. I wanted to embellish the top, so here I'm just taking some of my pine picks. I get these off of Amazon in bulk, and I also had a couple of pieces of cotton. I get that off of Amazon as well. And as you saw, I just kind of tied those together with a piece of wire that I had. And then I'm just taking my staple gun here just to staple that down to hold into place onto this frame. I wanted something a little stronger than hot glue because I figured that would be kind of heavy on that frame. Now I just want to make a bow for the center of it, so I have some different types and styles of burlap and ribbon and lace, that lace that I love that I get from Amazon. And I'm just crisscrossing all of those together, and I tie it together with jute string. I also have these rusty bells. I get these off of Amazon as well. I love these so much, especially for the Christmas season, but for any farmhouse craft, I think they are adorable. And I just want to tie those where they'll hang right in the center of my bow. And I just give that a double knot just to give it some extra stability. And now I'm going to hot glue that bow right in the center of my little cotton swag that I made for the top. And guys, look how great that goes together, the rusty bells with the burlap and the colors and shades in that image. I think it just all paired together so well. And here I'm doing my little bow hack where I put a little drop of hot glue on the back of each ribbon where they will lay right where I want them to lay and won't be flapping all around. I love how this turned out, guys. Let me know what you think. I didn't get a final video, but here's the final pic. And thanks so much for joining me. Have a great night.